Hi everybody, this is the video for section I, which is statistics from technology. So for our purposes today and for this year, technology when it comes to statistics refers to our graphing calculator. So you'll need your graphing calculator if you want to be following along today, so make sure you have that. So I have deliberately set myself on my calculator a few troubleshooting opportunities. So things that I thought you might run into so that you can I can help you sort of navigate through anything that might come up. Okay, so when it comes to statistics, so I've got this data set that I want to do some things with on the calculator. So the first thing I need to do is enter the data set. Move this up so you can see most of what I'm doing, and then I'll move it the rest of the way once I get those numbers in. So home base for stats when it comes to your calculator is this stat button right here. So I'm going to hit that, and that brings up three possible menus: edit, calculate, or tests. The first thing I need to do is edit. I need to edit what is in my calculator, what I'm actually getting statistics from. So you can either hit number 1 or you can just hit enter to get into this. So this provides a place for you to store statistics. So there are L1, L2, there are 6 lists that you could enter statistics for in your calculator. Some of you may already have empty lists, some of you may not. I put lists in here so that I could show you how to get rid of them. So to get rid of them, you want to arrow up so your cursor is highlighting the L1, and then you want to clear. Not delete. You don't want to delete the list, you want to clear the list. And then you want to hit enter, and then I'm going to arrow over and up, and I'm going to clear L2 as well. You may not have to do that. That was possible troubleshooting hiccup number 1. So the next thing you want to do is you want to enter your data. So I'm going to enter 12, and then I'm going to hit enter after each. 17, 20, 24, 21, 33, 19, and 5. So you need to hit enter after each of them, and you can see them sort of being generated in your list. So here's where you want to be careful. If you made a mistake entering any of your data, nothing that you do after this point will be correct. So do yourself a favor, take a quick glance at the list, make sure you didn't make a mistake. Also check what is the next data value going to be. So the next data value for me is going to be value number 9. So that means I have 8 data points entered. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right. So that's good. Do yourself a favor and do that check. It's really painful to realize well after the fact that you forgot a number. Okay, so I'm going to try to move this up a little bit so you can see my whole calculator. Okay, so once you have the data entered, your calculator will store that until you physically delete it. So if you're working with one data set over a long period of time, just leave it in there. Don't delete it. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to calculate some things. So I'm going to go back into the statistics menu, and I'm no longer looking to edit, I'm looking to calculate something. So I'm going to arrow over to the calculate menu, and I get this long list of options. For our purposes this year, we're using the first option only. So this one var stats, single variable statistics. So I'm going to hit enter on that, and then it asks me to enter some information. The first piece of information it wants to know is what list do I want to calculate statistics for? So I want to calculate it for L1. If that wasn't the case, if you had multiple lists and you wanted to switch, at this point, you're going to look down here, and above your number keys, you'll see L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6. That's where you could change it. So if I wanted to, I'm going to go second, and I'm going to enter L2 if I wanted to. I don't want to. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to enter L1. Arrow down. Now I have this frequency list. If you had data set up where one column was your values, the second column was your frequency, you would enter your frequency list there. So let's say L2 was your frequency list. We don't have that in this scenario, so we're going to leave that one blank. I'm going to arrow down and I'm going to hit calculate. And then you get this long list of information. So we're going to go through it piece by piece so you know what it all means. X with a bar on top. We talked about that in a previous video. That's your mean. So there, your calculator has just figured out the mean of this data. This large E, this sigma X, that's sum of. So if I added up all my data points, that's what I would get. Sum of X squared. So if I squared all my data points and then added them up, that's what I would get. This is a standard deviation measure, but it's not the standard deviation that we're going to use in a later section of this unit. So just ignore that standard deviation one, and you want the one with the Greek symbol. So standard deviation on this is 7.70. We'll get to that in a future video. N equals 8. That represents the number of data points that we have in this set is 8. And then if I arrow down, I get a whole second list of information. So I get min X, so that's my minimum value. Q1, that's Q1, lower quartile. Med, that's my median. Q3, that's my upper quartile. Maximum, that's my maximum. So these 5 pieces of information should look familiar to you. That's your 5-number summary, generated almost automatically, which is kind of cool. So again, tons of information there for you with just one simple calculation. So the other thing that I want to show you is how to graph these things using your calculator. So the way that you do that is you're going to go up into the stat plot menu. So above your y equals, you're going to hit second y equals to get into your stat plots. So you can plot 3 sets of data simultaneously so you can compare them. We only have 1 set of data, so we're going to go into plot 1. And the first thing you need to do is you need to turn on the stat plot so that it will actually graph it. And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to select the type. So you've got some scatter plots, you've got a column graph, you've got a box and whisker showing outliers, you've got a box and whisker showing no outliers, and another sort of line graph. So we're going to do the box and whisker with no outliers. Arrow down, our X list is going to be L1, and since we have no frequency list, that's also going to be L1. And then once we have all of our things selected here, we're going to go over to graph it. Okay, so troubleshooting aspect, tick up, I'm not sure what we're at, number 3, 2, whatever. I have a quadratic still in my calculator from the last unit, and I can only see a teeny tiny little bit of my box and whisker plot. So I need to deal with a couple of things here. First thing I want to do is I want to get rid of that quadratic. So I'm going to go back into my y equals. There's my quadratic. I want to clear it. So go back to graph. Okay, quadratic is gone, but I can still only see a portion of my box and whisker plot. That's because the kind of view that my calculator has set up for itself, the window it has set, is for quadratics. That's not the kind of view that I want. So I'm going to go into zoom, and I'm going to go down to option number 9, zoom stat. So this will give me a statistics view. You don't have to arrow down to it. You can just hit zoom and then the number 9. I just wanted to show you what it was. So I'm going to hit number 9, and then that gives me a view for statistics graphs. So that's what my box and whisker for this would look like. So that sums up what you need to be able to do with your calculator for this unit. Enjoy.